Hello. Today we're going to talk about shadow work. Isn't that amazing? This is one of the very exciting exercises I give to my clients. I hope you're prepared, because we're going to go really deep with your psyche right now. We're going to really understand relationships. We're going to understand triggers, doing this practice of shadow work will help you to grow all together with your partner, to actually have a very beautiful life together for years and years and decades to come. And without it, you often will be on each other's case, trying to find what's wrong, trying to find out what's wrong with you, what's wrong with them, always having that kind of attitude where you're not getting enough, where things are not happening your way. And guess what? There is a way to work with this that doesn't involve changing anybody whatsoever. So let's play. Today we're going to talk about shadow work. Now, one of the suggestions at the end I will give you, and this is the bonus little homework, that if you're a very good girl, if you're very good students, you can really indulge in and have a lot of things visibly changing in your life without you actually changing yourself or your partner. Excited? All right, so wait to the end until I give you that suggestion. But we will begin with understanding shadow work. So shadow work is a Jungian concept of therapy. What does it really mean? So Carl Gustav Jung, and before that Sigmund Freud, really discovered what psychotherapy could be for people, which is, guess what? Unconditional, radical acceptance of yourself. So I want you to write this down. The real, reason for having therapy is not to change yourself, not to change anything, but to actually fully, completely, unconditionally accept yourself. And the bonus is to learn to parent yourself, to love yourself, to encourage yourself. Those are bonuses if you want of psychotherapy. But on a very first level, you need to be able to just accept yourself as you are. So right now you're not accepting yourself because it's too scary, because there are parts of you that feel unacceptable. They feel like, if I'm gonna be this way, I'm not gonna be loved. I will lose this love. I will lose this relationship. I will not have this success. I will not have that peace. And it drives us to disown certain parts of us that are actually very powerful. I call them the magical superpowers. They are magical because, guess what? You've had them all along, but right now you not only can't recognize them or can't see them, but you are actually in deep denial about those magical parts of you. So you believe that somebody else have them, but not you. So in business, I often help my clients to do white shadow work. White shadow work is when you're looking at somebody you really admire out there, and understanding that the qualities you really admire are the exact qualities you have, but you don't allow yourself to express. And same works with the dark shadow. The negative things we notice about other people, we call them the triggers, is when we are triggered by some outrageous evil out there or whatever else that we see. Actually, Carl Gustav Jung, people, the psychotherapists who had studied subconscious mind, had told us that, guess what? You are capable of being this way. You are capable of being that evil, that ruthless, that stupid, that ridiculous, or whatever you think is so annoying and so unacceptable. So everything we judge out there, we actually notice because we have a special sort of eye for that specific quality. It is our shadow speaking with us. So if you want to help yourself to become more powerful, you can't put more education, more knowledge, more trainings, more whatever transformational programs into you. What you want is to actually learn to recognize and accept the disowned parts of yourself in whatever triggers you and integrate those qualities into your life in a very playful, in a very beautiful way. So you saw me putting out there a Jungian quote by Carl Gustav Jung, where he says, if you don't let your shadow play on a regular, on a daily basis, you will never have a chance of having a good relationship with yourself, with another, or with God. Isn't that powerful? Isn't that so serious? That if we are in denial of a huge subconscious part of ourselves and we're not letting that part play in our daily life, we just will never have intimacy with other people. We can never be real. We will be always suppressing a huge vast amounts of energy that are actually available to us, even just through this process of healing, which we know now is about a radical acceptance. I have many deep dives and big master classes and workshops on doing the shadow work. But right now I want to just briefly sort of summarize many of the, I would say, the most powerful tools I give my clients and to myself, exercise myself, in order to integrate your white and dark shadow and be more powerful in your life. So I mentioned that the shadow work altogether is not just an exercise, it's actually a practice. I would say it's a lifestyle. It is the paradigm shift my clients are talking about. It's the paradigm shift that takes you to see world a different way. As soon as you accept and understand that everything you see in other people is actually belongs to you, and I know it could be trigger right there when I'm telling you that everything you're angry about, everything that annoys you, actually you are capable of being that as well. But actually, if you let yourself be this way all the time, in a very kind of playful, I would say controlled way, in an acceptable way, you will suddenly see that you have less triggers, you have less judgment towards other people, and just that alone will help you to make your life so much easier. You can hear my kitten meowing there because my husband is about to feed her. So this is like awesome, right? That we can talk about this and not get triggered. All right, so let's continue with the shadow work. Let me open my notes. Now, shadow work, like I said, is a lifestyle. This is not just about doing one-off exercises. However, you heard me just talk about the exercise, which is a process, and I'm giving you the access to the workshop that is in detail, shows you how to do the actual Jungian process that my husband and I adapted into a much shorter process you can do just within 15 minutes. So all of that is obviously available to you as well. But the longer process of doing shadow work, like I said, it's a lifestyle. So what we're doing is we are being aware of our triggers. So this is the number one thing. You want to acknowledge and honor those triggers. You want to understand that this is your shadow speaking, your psyche, your subconscious mind is speaking with you. So we have obviously a specific way that we get triggered. Some people will get triggered by those qualities, other people will be triggered by other qualities. So when we see or experience a seemingly similar situation or event, many of us can feel very different way about it. This is why, because we have associations, we have those hang-ups, those anchors, triggers around certain things that belong to us. So being aware, that means to accept this as a reflection of you. I know it's kind of outlandish a little bit to think this way, but it's just a way, it's another dimension you can add to your life and start playing with it. So the next way that you can be doing kind of integrating shadow work into your life is by paying attention to very close intimate relationships you have, and you know, kind of looking at those interesting archetypal figures in your life. So in one of the exercises I gave you, you were looking at all different sort of characters in your movie that are playing in your movie, right, to bring you this life lesson. So you could complete this purpose, this life assignment, right? So if you start playing with your shadows is when you start noticing who are those people around you. You understand yourself, but now who are the people around you? And very often when we are looking at somebody we fall in love with, if it's our partner, or we're looking at our kids, we often actually subconsciously training them to reflect us, our shadows back, whether the white shadows or dark shadows, doesn't matter. They are often showing us that this is the quality that you really want to have for yourself. And it's okay, this is another way to understand who you are. So another way to do it, I call it a walkabout, is a really fun exercise. You can do it for the whole day, for example. You can give yourself even a week or a month to do that. It's a kind of almost a mystical exercise, but what it's all about, it's about you experiencing life as it is and taking sort of mental account of what actually I wanted to say triggers you. In a way, what is it that you notice about other people? I want you to pay attention to the people you meet, the strangers, the conversations you overhear, the movies you watch, the podcasts you listen to. Like, what is going on? What is the theme of those people? What is going on out there? And when you can, when you recognize that this is what I am involved with, this is what I am noticing, take it as a, again, sign that this is your psyche, your subconscious mind is speaking with you. Okay, so it's very interesting. If you're going, for example, on social media, and I know there's a lot of controversy and a lot of sort of emotions around who's brainwashing you and what they're telling you and what's not, but it's interesting that algorithms are really picking up on your clicks and your interests. So actually, if you're looking at your social media sort of news feed, it's interesting that you can see what you kind of very subconsciously pick and what comes back kind of. You know, when I started playing with that, I also did this very interesting sort of experiment when I started looking at what kind of junk mail I am receiving, especially through emails, because yes, you know, it's very quick when you do a search on Google for something and suddenly you start getting ads for that. And then you may wonder, why am I getting ads about this? Or how do they know about that, right? It's kind of believing that energetic blueprint everywhere out there. And we're doing that on a subconscious level as well. And if you become aware, if you start kind of trusting that what you notice, the only you do notice, and other people might completely notice completely different things about the same situation, then you can own that part of yourself and say, okay, how do I integrate it now? Because that would be the you know, the good healthy thing to do, is to integrate those parts that you had disowned. to integrate your shadow, you want to understand, first of all, what are you so afraid of when you are disowning those very interesting, very powerful parts of your personality? Well, obviously, you disown them not only because you can't accept themselves and you judge them, but because other people also judge them and also feel that that type of behavior is unacceptable. So when you are trying to integrate your shadow, this is why I invite you to be more sort of thoughtful, strategic, careful about it, instead of just trying to just live out this kind of sort of a darker side of you, or alter ego that is trying to boast out. Now, the interesting fact is that when you are suppressing your shadow, that is exactly what it does. It sabotages your very good efforts to do what is acceptable. Examples are so many out there when we think that everybody else out there is doing that, but then other people can point fingers and say, you know, you're just doing the same old thing. And we feel like, how come? I've tried so hard not to be this way. Well, because shadows are, it's exactly who we are. That we are, we include everything, good, bad, and the ugly. And if you want to live, I would say, a good, successful life within society, then you would let yourself express all sides of you, but in a very beautiful, in a very strategic way. So let's look at the examples. The first thing you want to see what it triggers you, and then find what are the benefits of that. If you did that, how would that benefit you? You will start seeing that if you are, for example, triggered in a good way, inspired by very, you know, sort of amazing celebrities or people out there, then you can ask yourself, well, what is it that really makes me admire them so much? What is that quality? And then you want to start expressing it in your own life as soon as possible. So, example, if somebody is this kind of a beautiful spiritual teacher, and just so enlightened and so zen and so calm, and you yourself feel like your life is full of anxiety and overwhelm and you're just in a race. Okay, so can you allow yourself to maybe take time off and meditate a little bit? Because that is probably what this person you admire does, to feel calm, to feel so controlled and so powerful in a peace. Try it out. You don't have to meditate as much as they do probably, but try at least a good 3 minutes a day. That's a good start. If you for example admire somebody on stages out there inspiring people, I'm giving you examples of so many people who had told me what they admire, right? So it's just another one of those. And maybe some YouTuber who is just like so funny and just so charismatic. So I'm inviting you to, right now, if you have means, go and to book yourself a speaking event and go be on the spotlight. Maybe you can sing karaoke. Maybe you can do a little speech at your friend's wedding. Maybe you can do a little presentation at your work, like whatever it takes. Maybe do a little live stream on Facebook or Instagram, like whatever it takes. Put yourself out there on the spotlight and just experience this kind of that quality that you admire so much in others, and see where it takes you. I use shadow work with my business clients, and it literally skyrockets the profits, because when we are showing up powerfully, we create better results. That's all there is. We're becoming more likable. If you are dating, I'll give you this very interesting example. It happened actually in business for one of my clients. She was sort of going, working on her business, but one of the things that triggered her were her competitors. marketers out there, and specifically ones that are kind of, she called them, they all fake, they all kind of sexed up, sort of plastic, filtered, like all sorts of things. She really, really hated that. And a lot of her competitors were doing this. And I said, well, I dare you to let your shadow play and just express this hidden part of your personality that craves that. And yes, she started using filters. She started, sort of becoming more sexually sort of magnetic attractive on her videos, and her business boomed to 7 figures from just that. It's actually quite a big shift she had in her brand. Another example, again, it's a professional example, but I'm sure we'll get into the personal life as well. But let's say with this one, she was writing her PhD and she couldn't finish it. I mean, for the love of God, it was 8 years. She still couldn't finish her PhD. And when we did shadow work, she discovered that, the one thing that really triggers her in people was superficiality, and that kind of like a sort of, and of course I dared her. I said, hey, let's let her play. So I prescribed her, because she really needed to be prescribed, to take a bath every evening with a glass of wine. She didn't drink typically, and the Cosmopolitan in her hand, and just read these very sort of whatever superficial articles, to just embrace that part of her that she had excluded from her life. And guess what? Within 4 months, she got her PhD, she finished it, and we celebrated together this big event in her life that she couldn't have done without including all sides of her personality. So, and let me think of an example in your private life, in your marriage. So this is great. If something in your partner really annoys you, I want you to play it out. You don't have to play it out with him. You can just play it in some different environment. But whatever the way, maybe he's sitting or doing something or not doing something, I want you to just literally copy that and try it out and see what the benefits of that behavior are, because there are benefits to it. That's why he's doing it, or that's why she's doing it. So play it out and see where it leads you. I'm very excited, because I think it's gonna be a great result right there. So I'm sending you lots of love. Indulge in this shadow work, and obviously come into the group for the Q&A sessions, and I'm very excited to answer all of your questions.